metalworks in southwest France was close to bankruptcy. But then Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, and production of these artillery shells used by the Ukrainian army increased dramatically.
The situation in Ukraine has made clear the need for sovereignty and strengthening of the industrial sector, so as to allow for the manufacture of 155mm shells.
The Forge de Tarbes plans to triple production to 160,000 shells a year. It's doubling staff numbers, but is having trouble recruiting fast enough.
It's a difficulty for us recruiting qualified personnel. We can't find enough. Most training here takes between 6 months to 1 year, so we're forced to really think ahead to meet the demand.
The war in Ukraine prompted the country's allies, including France, to send in weapons, ammunition, and military hardware. In June of the same year, the French president said France was heading into a wartime economy.
We're entering a wartime economy. This is a change for a lot of us, let's be clear. The states will need to invest a lot more and be more demanding with manufacturers. They will need to be more innovative and faster.
The Ukraine conflict has exposed supply shortages. After the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War, France's defense industry slowed down. Now it's under pressure to produce more and faster.
In this industry, we're closer to craftsmanship than to mass production. We live in a time when we think everything can happen immediately, that we can get things delivered very fast. In the digital world, everything is about speed. But in the real world, building a machine takes time. Industrial production needs preparation. Planning happens over several years.
The Nexter K&DS group produces cannons destined for France's César truck-mounted artillery system. Production of César systems has gone from 2 to 6 a month and will increase to 8 a month in 2024. But this increase has only been possible because the manufacturer invested in new machinery before the escalation of the conflict in Ukraine.
We invested in the machine 3 years ago. It has been operating for the last year. We made the investment before the current situation in Ukraine. A second machine like this will arrive in 2024.
Manufacturers are racing to produce enough supplies to send to Ukraine and build up the French armed forces supply. In 2022, France handed over 18 César systems to Ukraine and is sending a further 12. The manufacturer can meet increasing demand because the defense industry, even after the Cold War ended, continued to produce at a minimum level so as not to lose industrial know-how.
In France, we have the concept of strategic autonomy. We try to have a bit of everything. We made the choice in France to keep most of our capabilities because we wanted to develop them ourselves and to produce them in France, sometimes with partners. So we reduced production instead of sacrificing it.
After years of decreased spending, in 2018, France boosted the budget for its armed forces. A new generation of armored vehicles, like the Serval, is now replacing the old stock, some of which date back to the 70s and 80s.
It's nothing like driving the old vehicles. It's more flexible, it's easy, it's very comfortable, and we can take it anywhere. It's better on rough terrain.
As personnel, we're comfortable. We feel safer, and the equipment works better.
As well as the comfort aspects, the new technology works well. It's a real pleasure to control.
Manufacturers began making the Serval in 2018. 4.5 years later, more than 100 vehicles have been delivered to the French armed forces. 100 more will be in operation in 2024.
Obviously, there are teething problems, but these faults are being worked on by the Stat, the DGA, and the manufacturers. They have been identified and they can be modified within a short time frame. And the engine itself is extremely healthy, and this is really positive, considering it has only just been introduced into the forces.
In its next military budget, France plans to continue to increase spending. But extra purchases of armoured vehicles are not planned. To maintain the high production levels desired by the government, defence manufacturers are turning to the export market. Belgium has agreed to buy 19 César systems and 24 of the new Griffon armoured vehicle.